Welcome to our daily newscast where we give you a quick peek at the day's top stories. Lots of news going on. The Department of Justice is investigating the cause of the 2016 Russia investigation. The Congress is developing articles of impeachment, according to reports, and Elijah Cummings will be eulogized by former presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. But first up, for us, Tulsi Gabbard tells Congress, "I quit you." An education department official wants to get rid of student loans, and a white politician wants to talk to white people about white racism. I'm Jamal Simmons. Here's why you should care. Congresswoman and presidential hopeful Tulsi Gabbard is polling at 1% in most major polls. She's not saying goodbye to the presidential campaign trail just yet, but she is giving the deuces to her congressional colleagues. Gabbard released a video Friday morning announcing that after serving 7 years in Congress, she will not seek re-election. In the video, Gabbard points to the country's deep divisions, the threat of nuclear holocaust, and potentially being sucked into another war in the Middle East as reasons why she is choosing to devote herself to a presidential run rather than continue to serve as a representative of Hawaii's 2nd District. Now, why you should care? This is a bit shocking for Tulsi fans, and this news seems a bit out of left field. But is it? Gabbard ruffled some of her cohort's political feathers, including those of Senator Mazie Hirono, after she penned an op-ed accusing some Senate Dems of religious bigotry. The move not to run again had some wondering whether the outspoken Congresswoman might wage a third-party candidacy. Gabbard is keeping her cards close to her chest, so for now, we'll just have to watch and see how she plays her hand. We've been talking about mounting student loan debt all this week. Well, here's another story to add to the mix. A. Wayne Johnson, a senior student loan official appointed by Betsy DeVos, said yesterday that he plans to resign and endorse canceling most of the country's outstanding student debt, which is now about $1.5 trillion. Johnson said he came to this decision after seeing firsthand the problems surrounding what he calls a, quote, fundamentally broken system. He cited high levels of defaults and repayment trends that suggest much of the debt will never be repaid. Why you should care. A top student loan official calling for mass forgiveness is kind of a big deal and certainly sounds the alarm on the entire system. But he's not the only one making noise. Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren wants to cancel some student loans, and fellow candidate Bernie Sanders wants to give Americans free college, which will, of course, take care of most of the loans. Part of the reason student loan debt has skyrocketed is because of the predatory nature of the for-profit student loan servicing companies that make it harder to pay off that debt. Here's comedian Hassan Minhaj testifying before Congress on this very issue.
Companies like Navient and other companies you will hear from today have a history of misleading borrowers and pushing them into repayment plans that in some cases have cost individual borrowers tens of thousands of dollars in unnecessary interest. And the worst part is, borrowers don't even get to choose their loan servicer. The Department of Education chooses for you. We know the government is capable of stepping in during a financial crisis. So really all I'm asking today is, why can't we treat our student borrowers the way we treat our banks? Because 44 million Americans, that is too big to fail.
We need to get more Americans launched into careers without weights around their ankles. Maybe this is one way. Some interesting news coming out of New Orleans today. Former mayor of the Crescent City, Mitch Landrieu, has launched an initiative to address racism in the South head on. Called E Pluribus Unum, for those of you whose Latin is not what it used to be, that translates to out of many, one. Landrieu launched his project at the New Orleans Jazz Market earlier today. He and his team traveled the South, going to places like Mississippi, Arkansas, and Appalachia, where he talked to hundreds of individuals about their thoughts on improving racial justice and tackling institutional racism in the South. It's been a concern of Landrieu's for years as he helped his hometown confront its own history of racism. We talked to him about this broader problem last year. Take a look.
The issue of white supremacy and white nationalism has to be confronted by everybody in the United States of America, and you cannot give breath to that.
So why should you care? Racism has been with America from the very beginning. Slavery still impacts daily life for millions of people who have worse schools, smaller incomes, sicker lives, and earlier deaths from preventable causes. What we don't have is a consensus to tackle these problems head on. Maybe Landrieu can help. Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos. And head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.